Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Nigeria, my country, very beautiful country, the jewel, the beautiful bride of Africa. I dare to say the hope of the black race, the hope of every black man and woman on earth. Do I have regrets being in Nigeria? Do I have regrets being a Nigerian? No. I'm proud of my country. I am patriotic. I'm nationalistic. But having lived here for about 5 decades now, with the level of education, and I'm still learning, I'm unlearning, I'm relearning, it's time to start asking a lot of questions. And it's time to start looking at the Nigeria that we can actually build so that my children, my grandchildren will be proud holders of the passport and will be proud to come back home and travel from Lagos to Delta, Lagos to my mother's place in the Ikorodu there, is still based and situated in Lagos, without the fear of being tampered, being mugged, or being mobbed. And this brings us back to the question, how should we actually organize ourselves politically? You cannot divorce our politics from our economics. And so if we're having problems with the economics, it's because the politics, the structure, the system that underpins, that underscores Nigerian politics is particularly skewed. Okay, so that brings us to the major focal point of discussion, discourse and analysis, which is the number of tiers of government we have in Nigeria. Now, we do a historical analysis and go back to the 60s, where we particularly did not have this federation or federalism and federal fiscal federalism that we have, going on today. We had regions, and these regions performed excellently well. And in each region, they had their premiers, they had, their own sub-economies, and they all contributed to the center. And everybody was making progress. I hope I'm historically correct. I'm told that some of these regional governments, the Western region, the Eastern region, and probably the Northern region, they had their own, embassies in the UK, and they had their own ambassadors that they sent there. So fast track to 1979 or to 1970, where Govt, the young president, the young military head of state, and a few others came on board and dismantled that, structure, and we fast tracked to 1979, where we had a constitution, and we had a constitutional development committee. I think that was headed by Sir Rotimi Williams, senior advocate of Nigeria, and first Queen Counsel in Nigeria, the first or the second. I hope I'm getting that right. And then we had a constitution that made a provision for a local government administration. But I think the problem actually started there, because I think that we did not have enough consultation with the Nigerian people, who are said to have been, the purveyor of the constitution, the result why the constitution was drafted. And it created a local government that puts the local government under the apron string, under the financial care, under the financial jurisdiction of the state government. And that is where this problem with local government administration actually started. It started with the 1979 Constitution. It was extrapolated and also put into the 1999 Constitution, and we continue with that 25 years after the advent of the Fourth Republic. So what does that provision mean? That provision means that even when monies are shared at the center and they have to trickle down to the state and to the local government, it is the state governor and the state government that receives the allocation for a particular local government and determines what should be done with that allocation. Now, the real question that Nigerians should be asking, and I would love to ask General Obasanjo, it's very impossible to ask Rotimi Williams, why was that provision made? Why was there no full autonomy for local governments in Nigeria to stand on their own, to stand financially autonomous, to be remain financially autonomous, to stand administratively autonomous? Why? It points to a bigger picture, a bigger problem, which is there's a possibility that the Constitution was drafted for the benefit of some individuals. There's a possibility that the constitution we're operating is still in operation to service the myopic views, the myopic strategic objectives of certain individuals. Otherwise, having local government autonomy shouldn't be a problem. But again, when discussions like this come up, I try to be dialectic. What is the purpose of local government administration? And should the local government actually enjoy autonomy? And now, should the local government have elections conducted by a state independent electoral commission? And how independent will be a state Electoral Commission when a particular sitting governor is from a particular party and would need the cooperation of all those in the local government to actually sing and dance with him, especially when it comes to the allocation of monies that are coming from the center. These are issues. Another thing that the 1979 and 1999 Constitution as amended did was to make it impossible, for local government chairmen to actually, do or perform the duties that they're supposed to perform. In the Constitution for 1999, you find about 10 to 15 provisions that serve as a function of local governments. But most state governments have taken over these functions and are collecting rates, collecting tax, and collecting even the small funds that are supposed to be generated by local government, councils, local government administrations are being collected by the state government. So there lies the problem. The first problem is that there was a provision in 1979 Constitution that forbade carpet crossing or red carpet crossing. What does that mean? It meant that as of 1979, if you were in a particular party and you won your election with a particular party, you cannot wake up overnight and now say, oh, you don't want to be in that party anymore, you are crossing to another party. But the 1999 Constitution did not expressively or implicitly or exclusively speak to that issue. So that's why you find people today leaving parties, and that has a multiplier effect on local government administration. How? It means that when you have a particular state governor that is the particular political party X, it is expected that if you want to win elections in that state at the local government level, you have to be in that particular party X. That's why you find people in a particular party Y, immediately another party takes over the state, they will come and tell you they are the campaign, they will go out, they will tear their membership cards and go and register and go and start saying they are now a part of the new structure. Is this a politics of development, or is this a politics of zombification of the Nigerian project? And Nigerians should take a note around that concept. The zombification of the Nigerian economy, the zombification of the Nigerian project, the zombification of the purpose why Nigeria was established, and the zombification of Nigeria as an enterprise, a going concern. Now, what will be the implications of the federal government now extending the functions of an independent National Electoral Commission to leave and start organizing elections for local governments? We have a total of 774 of them in Nigeria. We are sitting back in our various nooks and crannies across the country, complaining of how much we expend on elections every cycle of 4 years. And some off-cycle elections like we're going to have in, I think, Ondo and possibly in Edo sometime in September. We haven't finished dealing with that issue and those issues. And now you are going to expend more money in a government that is usually controlled by, in a system that's usually controlled by whichever political party is in power, and relegates the power of the opposition, and asking the Inec or asking the electoral body to go down to 774 different local governments and start spending resources that are not available to start conducting elections. I think it's a misplacement of priority. I think that the issues that have to do with local government autonomy should be addressed at the Senate. I think that if we actually want to have a three-tier system of government, let us have a three-tier system of government, and let there be political autonomy. Let there be ideology. One of the problems with our politics, which affects systematically our economics, is that we operate a system of political opportunism and not political ideology. So if you're an opportunist and you're opportune to become governor, you want everybody to come to your party and do things according to your whims and caprices. There is no ideology. There is no competitive ideology. There is no contesting ideology. There are no ideas on how to move the ship forward. And I believe that once we can get these issues of ideology right, once we can get these issues of constitutional infractions right, we will be in a better position to reboot the economy, to make people love Nigeria, to make people be more patriotic, and to reduce the degree of political apathy in Nigeria. Do I vote for the Independent National Electoral Commission to organize elections at local government level? No, I do not vote for that. Do I vote for the Independent National Electoral Commission to superintend, to assist state independent electoral commissions to oversight those elections? Yes, very possibly. Do I vote for local government to be strictly autonomous? Yes, I do, but with oversight roles to be played by the federal government and not by the state government. That way we can sync, that way we can have a symphony, and that way we can bring governance closer to the people and prepare ourselves for effective, relevant change and transformation going forward.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.